Ruined castles, ancient towns, mysterious caves. Every year, archaeologists find hundreds of artifacts. To find the truth and unravel what's left to us from our ancestors, the Crew of Archaeology Mystery of History program, together with scientists, are investigating objects found on site of historic events. Watch our program and get ready for exciting discoveries.
Taraz is a pearl of the true Talas Valley. Green, flourishing modern city in the south of Kazakhstan has a unique and inviting feel to it. It is called the City of Great Destiny. The history of ancient Taraz began 2,000 years ago. The first settlement was dated back to 7th, 8th centuries BC and belonged to Saka and Dusun tribal unions. These lands were later inhabited by Karluks, Kangu and Huns. Historians attribute founding of the ancient Taraz to the Han ruler Jibek. The imperishable city was founded by ancient Huns between two rivers, Asa and Talas. Many years have passed, many centuries. Different dramatic events happened since then. People and natural forces attempted to destroy this city, but in spite of everything, Taraz was never vanished. The city was preserved and protected its heritage. Today, we learn about our ancient history. In 751, a historic battle of Atlah took place near the city, during which the Abbasid Caliphate cavalry defeated the army of Tang China with the help of local Karluk tribes. As a result, the Arabs brought Islam to the Kipchak steppes. But it was Karahanid rule that brought ancient Taraz to its heydays during the 11th and 12th centuries. These are the cultural layers that archaeologists examine at the excavation site of the historical center of modern Taraz. We are now standing on the territory of the ancient city of Taraz Archaeological Park. This is where the first historical open-air museum was initially created. We have two museums. One of them is here in this park. There are plenty of historical information and academic works about Taraz. The first research work about Taraz was written in the 19th century by Russian Orientalist Vasily Bartold. He was the one who ascertained the exact location of the ancient Taraz as one of the cities of the Great Silk Road. However, a considerable amount of time had passed before the excavations began. The territory of interest served as a central city market during the Soviet times. In 2012, the market was relocated and archaeologists were finally able to get to excavations. In 2013, we simultaneously began excavating 4 to 5 sites. We already knew the exact location of the ancient city. 10 hectares of land were allocated for our research works. As a result of excavations, we identified fortification of the city. Therefore, it was confirmed that those 10 hectares of land are in fact where the ancient city used to stand. The excavation works were projected to take 20 years. The first archaeological park in Kazakhstan was established on the territory of ancient Taraz. From the very first days of excavations, archaeologists and restorers are working next to each other. Restorers create a protective layer for collapsing walls and brickwork, conserving remains of the ancient settlement. Archaeologists say that after completion of conservation works, it will be possible to walk along different historical layers of the ancient city. The top cultural layers belong to Karahanid era. Underneath lays the city of Karluks, and beneath that, the city of Han and Kangu state period. We also found irrigation canals in the center of the old Taraz, as well as madrasa constructions, residential houses, old streets and water pipes. These valuable finds tell us about life in ancient Taraz, its scale. It was a very developed city, by all means. Medieval Taras was a green flowering city with numerous fountains and ariks, irrigation ditches. As the city grew, the demand for water was increasing as well. The water supply system was known in Taras since the 6th century. Clay pipes redirected crisp water from the Talas River, and thanks to it, rapid flow water was supplied to all parts of the city.
Тараз қаласының ішінен Талас өзенінің бір арнасы ағып жатқан деп жазылып кеткен болды.
According to historical records, the river Talas was passing through the city of Taras. In 2015, after thorough research, the riverbed was discovered and put on map. This supported our belief in truthfulness of facts listed in historical records. There were few smaller rivers near the city. The canal discovered during our work was called Tuite in Turkic language. In Kazakh, it would sound like Tote, meaning direct. There was another canal passing through the streets of Taras. Medieval Taras was a major administrative center of the Karahanid state, its capital. The city was equipped with running water and sewerage. There was even a heating system. In the baths, hot water was supplied through the pipes. The river Talas and its tributaries provided this big medieval city with life-giving water. The river passing through the city was a recreational area for residents. Stone road was built along the banks of the river. There were special fences. This place where we are standing now was the center of the city, the citadel. It is adjacent to surrounding area called Shahristan. This is where masters of different trades and merchants were accommodated. Over there is Rabat. This is what they call the area outside the city. A 5-meter wide street was stretching through the city from east to west. It led to the main temple of the city, the Karahan Mausoleum. The citadel was surrounded by massive fortress walls with corner towers. Inside there were Han's palace, a treasury, Friday mosque and a guard garrison. Shahristan, or the inner city, was a dense residential area with caravanserai, mint and madrasa. The outer city, Rabat, was inhabited by commoners, artisans, blacksmiths and merchants brought here by the Great Silk Road. We came to conclusion that the city was originally planned by a single architect, because all roads, central highway, pipelines, location of all the houses, everything was thought out. The ancient settlement of Taras turned out to be a depository of valuable finds. Archaeologists have found bronze lamps of exquisite craftsmanship, silver and gold bells from distant countries, and a considerable amount of Turgesh and Karahanid coins that were minted in ancient Taras. The ancient city was located at the intersection of caravan routes. Medieval travelers called it a city of merchants. Taras traded with largest countries of the ancient world: China, Byzantium, Persia. The economic and trade development of the city is attested by numerous numismatic coins found during excavations of ancient Taras. Chinese coins reaffirm economic relations with other countries. It is especially important to note the finding of the Byzantine gold coin. This is also a vivid example of the international relations of Taras. All the finds discovered during excavation processes are sent to restoration field laboratory. Here, the artifacts are processed, dried, restored, missing parts are recreated. This is the Archeology laboratory. This is where we restore the finds discovered on the territory of the ancient city. Our employees are mainly graduates of the local university. Our goal is not limited to archaeological research work. We are also training students, passing on our knowledge to continue this important historical work. Restorers mainly deal with ceramic dishes and metal products of the Karahanid period. Crafts were flourishing in Taras in the Middle Ages. Glaziers, potters and glassblowers were especially glorified. The masters of Taras had their own distinguishable style. Glass products were usually greenish-blue in color. Ceramics had characteristic brown pattern and yellow glaze. We found this ceramic jug during the excavation in 2016. Took it to the laboratory and restored it. First you need to clear it from dirt and dust, then collect and glue all the fragments together. This is the restoration process. Every year, archaeologists make amazing discoveries in Taras. Last year, they were lucky to find unique artifacts. One of the most important discoveries was the ancient warehouse of Taras. Last year, during the excavations, we found a storage unit consisting of 92 parts. Inside, we found jewelry made of silver and gold, bracelets, pendants, earrings. We are very proud of such artifacts. You can get acquainted with the amazing works of ancient masters at the exposition in the Monuments of Ancient Taras Museum Reserve. The number of valuable exhibits at the museum exceeds 1,200. These were discovered here during excavations on the territory of Taras. This is the peculiarity of the museum. All exhibits in the museum were found within the border of the city and not elsewhere. Artifacts found in Taras are surprisingly well preserved. Some of them didn't even require restoration. Every object provides important information from the depth of past centuries concerning the history of the city, the way of life, and the occupations of its inhabitants. This is, for example, a hand mill. Using these, they made flour, crushed wheat and various grains. This is where the holes were, and here was a wooden handle. Grains were placed here. A white cloth was put underneath and crushed grain was poured into it. This was part of the daily lives of ancient people. The total area of the museum is more than 2,000 square meters. It was created according to modern world standards. Guests of the city should definitely visit this unique museum reserve. We often arrange excursions for students and school children to tell them about the historical heritage of our ancestors. We want to educate modern youth about the craftsmanship of ancient inhabitants of Taras, their achievements during those long gone times. Archaeological excavations of the ancient settlement of Taras continue to this day. Only 1/5 of its territory has been examined so far. At the same time, over 1,500 unique artifacts were discovered already. How many more historical mysteries are hidden underneath thick layers of soil in depths of the ancient 2,000-year-old city?